Hey guys, we are here at the resort strip of Virginia Beach for today's video. This is going to be the starting point. Now we're not actually going to spend much time on the resort strip because really it's, my personal taste, it's not that exciting, although it is the destination where people come to. It starts here at the loop at Ruby Inlet and goes north about to about 40th Street. And in about 4 or 5 blocks, and that's the resort area of Virginia Beach. There's additional 400 square miles of the city that seldom gets any attention. So today, what I want to start doing is a little bit about my hometown, Virginia Beach, and a bit about things to see off the beaten path that most folks don't take advantage of. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to take off from here. So you're saying, where is Miriam? Miriam is at work. It's a work day. I decided to knock off a few things from my list on a Friday and then take the rest of the day off. It's one of the perks of being married to the boss, so to speak. So that's what we're doing.
So our objective today is 3 things. We want to visit the north end of the city and take in some historical monuments which happen to be co-located on a military base, and then over to First Landing State Park, which is one of our local gems, which is one of the most popular state parks in Virginia and is located only 15 minutes from the resort strip. And then lastly, over to Town Center, where we will visit a site which has some historical significance, but nobody knows about it. Even the locals don't even know about this one.
We are now in the north end area of the city. Once you get around 40th Street, I think it is, the resort strip actually ends. There's no more boardwalk, there's no more hotels, well, there's one hotel up here, and there's no shops. It's just residences. A lot of these residences are seasonal. A lot of these are permanent folks. But as you can imagine, we are 1 block off of the ocean. As you can imagine, the real estate prices are really, really high on the ocean. $1 million for a house is not uncommon. And they're not even that great of a house. It's just the price of the land and its proximity to the Atlantic Ocean. The region that Virginia Beach is located in has several names. The most common for the folks around here is called Tidewater, pronounced by the locals as Tidewater. A little bit of an accent there, left over from the old times, and that's not really accurate because Tidewater is geographically an area where the tidal water has effect. You get a little further up, there is no tide because of the elevation. But here we're so low and so flat that all the rivers and inlets are affected by the tide, so it's called Tidewater. The next name it goes by is Hampton Roads, and that's not accurate either. Hampton Roads actually pertains to the harbor that is out in the just off of the Chesapeake Bay, and that harbor, the Hampton Roads Harbor, is where the battle between the 2 ironclads during the Civil War took place, the Monitor and the Merrimac. Matter of fact, bridge tunnel that they opened maybe about a decade ago is named the Monitor Merrimac Bridge Tunnel. It's a big open space of water. This is Fort Story. It used to be dedicated as an Army base. It is now a joint base between the Navy and the Army. And there's a lot of history here. So to take advantage of the history, you gotta get through base security. And you know, if you want to come up here and take a look at this stuff, there's a just go to the website and they'll explain the entrance procedure. It's pretty simple. You have to submit to a search after your vehicle if they want to search it. No firearms are allowed, obviously. They want to check your ID, maybe subject to a background check real quick. And you have to have documentation for your vehicle, insurance, registration, driver's license, you know, that sort of thing. It's not too bad. Many bases in this area you're not getting on unless you are active duty military or you have a legitimate purpose. And being a tourist does not count. Getting on the base was sort of like going through TSA security at the airport. Of course, this is an active military base in a region where we have a lot of active duty military bases. So their security is necessary, and I appreciate that, and I respect the folks who do that. And looks like I'm going to get a little bit of rain, which is, of course we would. We always get rain. Looks like I've got about 20 minutes. Oh, great. This is on the military base is, the military base here is configured in an area called Cape Henry. It's where the Atlantic Ocean and the Chesapeake Bay meet. It's behind the sand dunes over there and the shrubbery, which I've been told by the base police personnel I cannot go. It's off limits, but trust me, there's the Atlantic Ocean and the Chesapeake Bay is right over there. And this area has a little bit of historical significance for two reasons. There's two lighthouses. The first one, which is right over there, was actually built in 1792, and then in 1881 it was replaced with the metal higher structure, which is 350 feet tall, and is still an active lighthouse today. And these restored houses are the restored buildings are the lighthouse keeper facilities, where the lighthouse operator and their family would live while they operated the lighthouse. Wasn't a whole lot up here during that time. No hotels, so they had to stay at their own house. This area is called First Landing. We have a state park associated with it called First Landing State Park. There's a memorial, and there is this large cross. And the reason this cross is here, and the reason this memorial is here, and I think I'm going to stand in the shade to say this, is about 100 yards behind me is the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean. So why is this park actually here? Well, a few years ago, in April 26, 1607 to be exact, 3 ships landed for the first time in this area. They were the Susan Constance, the Godspeed, and the Discovery. Perhaps you've read about those in your history books. They were the first permanent colony to make landfall in what is now the United States, and they did so on the beach behind me, and they erected a cross nearby, and the city has elected to put a permanent cross up here in the national monument area, which is First Landing State Park, First Landing National Park. Now, they didn't stay here. Once they landed and they gave thanks, the reason they gave thanks because the voyage was 144 days, considerably longer than the typical voyage across country, which is about 90 to 100 days. So they had a long time on the sea, so they're really happy to make landfall. They went up the river, up the Chesapeake Bay, and made the first left turn into the river that they named the James River, they named it after King James, who was the King of England at that time. Now, I have a personal interest in this story because on one of those 3 ships was my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. He was on one of those ships. I did my genealogical research a couple of years ago and learned that. It was quite interesting. What about my grandmother? Well, she was already here. She was a member of the Powhatan Indian tribe who reside locally, and their history here goes back thousands of years. So a little bit of personal history there. And I haven't been up here in a long time. And I live within just a few miles of this place. It's a nice park, nice place to come visit, a little bit of history. So we're going to try to get out here before the rain gets us.
So I forgot to mention the most important part, which is the name of this settlement that they established up on the James River. Well, it was called Jamestown. And by the way, the lighthouse and the cross became part of the city seal for the city of Virginia Beach. And by the way, just to set the record straight, the first permanent European colony in what is now the United States was settled in St. Augustine, Florida by the Spanish years before the English established a permanent colony at Jamestown.
Well, hi there. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
If it got any better, I couldn't stand it.
Well, that's good. It's
It is. What is the interest fee now? Is it $5 for? Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. A bit about the park. It's a lot of personal memories for me. I cut my teeth and learned to appreciate and enjoy hiking back here. This place is full of all these scenic trails, some long, some short. And probably about age 14, age 15, my friends and I would get together, and we would, during summertime, one of our parents would take us up here, drop us off, and we would walk through the park, hiking all the trails, and then be picked up later in the afternoon on the other side of the park. Made for a great day. A lot of good memories there. My personal favorite time of year to come up here is in the fall. Really, September is probably still a bit warm, but October and November, when the leaves have changed and it's crisp, it's really interesting.
First Landing State Park offers miles and miles of hiking and bicycling trails, a visitor's center with museum, camp store, campground which is adjacent to the Chesapeake Bay, cabin rentals, kayak rentals, and plenty of other leisure activities to keep you occupied. You could easily spend a complete day back here and not see all of it. So, here's our secret historical trivia. Behind me is the Virginia Beach main branch of the public library system. And I know what you're saying, John, it's a library. We have those also, but not like this one you don't. You see, before it was a library, well, it was a vacant lot for 40 years. But before it was a vacant lot, it was a German prisoner of war camp. That's right. It held over 6,000 German POWs in the 1940s. The location was about 20 acres from here back, because right in front of me is Virginia Beach Boulevard. And you're probably saying to yourself, why would they put a prisoner of war camp right smack in the middle of one of the largest resort cities on the East Coast? Well, it wasn't. Not in the 1940s. There wasn't even Virginia Beach. It was a place called Princess Anne County. Virginia Beach was a small town, only coming off the ocean front by about 3 or 4 blocks, 8 miles that way. The next population center was downtown Norfolk, about 10 miles that way. This was just open farmland, and it was close proximity to the main thoroughfare and local military bases so they can get the prisoners of war off the ships and onto this location. Now, everything associated with the prisoner of war camp, with the exception of one building, has been removed years ago. And it was the headquarters for the prisoner of war camp. We're going to go take a look at it now. It's amazing. And there you are, right in the shadow of what is now our town center. Okay, here's a photograph of what it used to look like in the 1940s. Back then, Virginia Beach Boulevard was a 2-lane road. And this is what it looks like today. And what's really amazing is right next to it, still under construction, but almost finished, is an Aldi's grocery store. And the irony is, Aldi's is a German-based grocery store. You know, in the 1970s, I read an article when I was a young man in high school about a gentleman who was a prisoner of war here. And he went back home after the war, had a career, had a family, retired. And in the 70s, he came back to Virginia Beach and expected to be the same rural farmland and that he remembered, and was shocked at the sprawl that was even already here in the 70s. Now, the vast majority of the POWs were captured in the Africa campaign, and they were draftees, not your hardcore Nazis. They were taken to a more secure location, much further inland, typically in the desert southwest, where it's a little more trickier to try to escape. The folks that were stationed here were treated pretty well, considering they were still POWs, but at least they were out of the war, and I would think, for the most part, that they were probably happy about that, considering the conditions that they had to experience during the war. Since our labor force was out fighting the war in both the Pacific Theater and the European Theater, we were short of manpower. So since these were non-Nazis, they were loaned out to local farmers and local businesses throughout the area. And well, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up today's video. Hope you enjoyed the short tour around the city for the three historic spots of Cape Henry, First Landing State Park and the First Landing National Monument, and the Camp Ashby POW camp. So we're going to take it back to the house, and since it's about 4:30 and it's Friday afternoon, we're going to wind the day with a cold drink once we get home. So we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Feel free to leave a comment below. Hey guys, a lot of our gear and favorite travel videos are listed in the description below, and you can click on the Amazon affiliate links to learn more about the product. Each dollar we make goes back into generating these high quality videos.